Hello, my name is Lorenzo A, and the company that I chose was Exxon Mobil. The way I came upon the Exxon Mobil is I looked at Fortune 500 companies, I picked the top 10, and Exxon Mobil was number 2 right behind Walmart. Their record in profits was $30 billion, up 58% from 2010. Basic overview of what I'm going to discuss today is the company description. I wanted to cover a little bit of the social responsibility of the company, demand, which I think influences the company's profits, which include and are affected by many risk factors. Most important here I wanted to touch on was revenue recognition. Also, I've included inventories, property, plant, and equipment, just because those are things that we briefly touched on in class and I thought they were interesting to include into my presentation. Exxon Mobil Corporation was incorporated in the state of New Jersey in 1882. First slide is the company description. Their principal business is energy, of course, involving exploration for and production of crude oil and natural gas, manufacture of those petroleum products, and the transportation of the oil, natural gas, and the petroleum products. Exxon Mobil, however, also has interest in electrical power generation facilities. Exxon Mobil has interests in 36 refineries located in 21 different countries. Their distillation capacity is 6.3 million barrels per day, and the manufacturing is about 131,000 barrels a day. What I wanted to cover here and what I discussed was the social responsibility of the company. Here I just wanted to be noted that the company spends $4.5 billion in environmental expenditures for all such preventive and remediation steps. What this includes is the manufacturing of clean fuels as well as projects to monitor and reduce nitrous oxide, sulfur oxide, and the gas house emissions. Demand, which is a direct reflection of the profit of the company. Basically here, what to keep into consideration is that not only are they competing within the industry, but now outside of the industry due to alternative energy factors. Some of the risk factors here, they had so many listed, but I chose the top 4, which I found, I guess, basic, or probably some of them were the most interesting. The first one is economic conditions. Just economic growth, of course, is going to influence demand. Next is demand-related factors, demand-related factors, and what I want to brush on here is basically like seasonal patterns, having to do with the weather, if that's going to increase or decrease the use of their products, as well as increase competitiveness in the alternative energy sources, and then new technological advances, which are energy-efficient components. Last is market factors. Here is basic stuff like interest. Most importantly, inflation, since they're an international company, and of course, interest rates. Lastly is government sponsorships, and I guess until recently, a lot of things are starting to use have alternative fuel sources, and this is something that is going to affect their profits. Most important thing here to discuss is revenue recognition, and here we have short-term and long-term agreements. Basically here, the corporation generally sells crude oil, natural gas and petroleum, and chemical products under short-term agreements at prevailing market prices. In some cases, however, for example, natural gas, products may be sold under long-term agreements with periodic price adjustments. An example of this, not directly with the company, would be Southwest Airlines, for example. They get a lock on their gas prices, and they pay that price for the next 5 years or whatever the length of the contract would be. I want to thank you for listening to my presentation today, and then some brief things that I wanted to cover before the presentation ended was inventories and property, plant, and equipment. Here, just in inventories, I thought it was interesting to use the LIFO method, and for property, plant, and equipment, depreciation, depletion, and amortization are based on the cost less estimated salvage value of the asset and are primarily determined under either the unit of production method or what we covered in class, the straight line method. Most of my information was taken from www.sec.gov and from the actual Exxon Mobil website. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this brief presentation.